So while Rahul Gandhi had claimed that the poor are being looted in India, the Niti Aayog CEO PVR Subramaniam has said and reminded Rahul Gandhi that in fact on 16th of February, remember he had claimed that Rahul Gandhi had claimed during his Nyaya Yatra that the poor were being poor because they were being looted in the name of Ram. Despite the fact check which is coming in, let's remind you of what Rahul Gandhi had said at that time.
आप मुझे बताओ, राम मंदिर का इनॉग्रेशन हुआ, देखा आपने? उसमें आपने एक गरीब आदमी देखा? एक देखा आपने? उसमें मुझे अमिताभ बच्चन दिखा, ऐश्वर्या राय दिखी, अदानी दिखा, अंबानी दिखा, सारे के सारे बिजनेस वाले दिखे। मुझे एक गरीब बंदा उसमें नहीं दिखा, एक किसान नहीं दिखा, एक मजदूर नहीं दिखा, एक बेरोजगार नहीं दिखा, एक छोटा दुकानदार नहीं दिखा, एक चाय वाला नहीं दिखा, और सारे के सारे जो अरबपति हैं वो दिखे। भाइयों, ये 74% जो है ना लोग, और इसमें आप 2-3%, 4%, 5% जनरल कास्ट के गरीब लोगों को जोड़ दो, इनका इस देश में कुछ नहीं बचा। इनको बस या थाली बजानी है या मोबाइल फोन दिखाना है, घंटा बजाना है, ताली बजानी है और भूखा मरना है।
Well, despite the NSSO data, the opposition, however, still tries to push the poverty narrative. Listen in to them doubt this data.
इस प्रकार आबादी बढ़ी है और जिस प्रकार से खाई बढ़ी है, आप मत भूलिए कि जो अमीर और गरीब की खाई है वो लगातार बढ़ती चली जा रही है। और गरीबी की परिभाषा क्या है? क्या वो ग्लोबल परिभाषा है या हम लोगों ने नई उसमें परिभाषित उसको किया है? और मैं मानता हूं कि इस देश में जो संसाधन है, गांव और शहर की जो खाई वो बढ़ गई है। जो अमीर थे वो इतने अमीर हो गए कि अब उसकी कोई हद नहीं है, और जो गरीब थे वो लगातार पिछड़ते चले जा रहे हैं। उसकी चिंता हम लोगों को।
देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी और केंद्र सरकार से हम पूछना चाहते हैं कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी जब शपथ लिए थे 2014 में, तो देश में गरीबी रेखा से नीचे वाले लोग 45 करोड़ थे, आज 80 करोड़ से ऊपर है। और जिस पर गौरवान्वित महसूस करते हैं प्रधानमंत्री जी, तो 80 करोड़ संख्या कैसे बढ़ी? जब आपके अनुसार संख्या 5% घटी तो ये 80 करोड़ कहाँ से आ गए? इसका मतलब है कि जो एनडीए का मतलब होता है नो डेटा अलायंस।
Well, remember, Prime Minister Modi gave a guarantee to make India the third largest economic power in his third term. Now, what the projections for India have been, as per Goldman Sachs projection for India, we will be becoming the second largest economy by 2075, overtaking, of course, China. In fact, they say that innovation and increasing worker productivity are going to be important for the world's fifth biggest economy. That means that greater output for each unit of labor as well as capital. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund expects India to grow by 6.5% next financial year. Analysts at Jefferies have said that you can expect the country to become the world's third largest economy by 2027. Well, India's stock market, meanwhile, is hitting record highs. The value of companies listed on India's exchanges have surpassed $4 trillion late last year. Now, Jefferies also projected that India's market value is expected to more than double to $10 trillion by 2030. Even the MSCI has increased India's weighing in the emerging markets index to 18.06% from the earlier projection of 17.98%. So let me go across to our panelists. Joining us today on the show, Pradeep Mahaur, a political analyst, Rohan Mitra also joining us, another political analyst. I'm going to come to you, Rohan. We have the numbers, we have the stats, we have the NSO data, we have the projection of Goldman Sachs, you have the projections of the IMF. Why is there still denial that India may be progressing, the disparities may be decreasing? Is it a political compulsion?
Good evening, Meghna. Good evening to everyone. Meghna, I think it's very amusing, before
the NSSO, which is also funded by the government, it's under the Statistics Ministry, the Niti Aayog, again funded by the government, all of them have come up and they're saying that India is doing brilliantly. The number of poor people in India is getting less and less, and the media is just picking this up. if it was 2014...
Sorry to interject, but I also quoted the IMF. Is that also government funded? I also quoted the Goldman Sachs. You are selectively looking at what I had asked you. I just had to correct you there, but go ahead.
No. I am selectively looking at this because I was coming to that, if it was 2014, there was a lot of data out there where India was doing very well. But the media never picked up on that. The media only focused on the shortcomings of the then UPA government. My point to you is that just before the elections, when a government-funded, government-organized, these numbers come up and the media is going to ask questions of the opposition, that is a disgrace. Let me put another point here. In 2019, Mr. Rahul Gandhi had tweeted on the NSSO, which was a leaked report on the NSSO, about the unemployment numbers of India. Did the media pick up on that? No. Today, in the same report, you are talking about the poorest of the poor having to survive on 46 rupees a day. But you don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about the bigger numbers, because when you take an average of the higher and the lower, you're going to come to a middle point where the poorest of the poor people are going to be left behind. And that is what Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been talking about. You cannot leave the poorest of the poor out of the picture and only focus on the higher people who are doing well. There are no jobs in this country today. We've seen what the Agniveer, with the Agniveer thing today, where 4 lakh people have lost their jobs. They are out of jobs. What are you talking about then? This NSSO data has no value because they have changed the whole method.
Okay.
What was happening in 2011 and 2012, they've changed that whole method. What happened to the report which was supposed to, after 13 years, you've come up with a report just before the elections to say that Mr. Modi is doing very well. I congratulate you. I congratulate the NSSO. I congratulate the Niti Aayog. But the people of India, the poor people of India, they are suffering. Please do something about
answer that, Pradeep Mahaur, that this is government-backed data. Government has changed the parameters, and at a time, and this is what the opposition has said, that when the government was sworn into power in 2014, the number of poor at the time, those below poverty line, was 45 crores. How did that number now rise to 80 crores? And yet the government data shows that there has been a dip by 5%. Pradeep Mahaur.
First of all, congratulations to you, to every Indian, that the poverty had been the biggest issue that India was facing, and now the poverty numbers are going down to 5%. As far as the data of 2014 is concerned, 21.6% of Indian population was under poverty line. Right now, that line has narrowed down to 5%. As the fellow panelist, he was talking about that data is erroneous. So for him, IMF data is erroneous. For him, S&P data is erroneous. Whatever data that talks about India's growth is all fake. According to him, only the non-economists and Rahul Gandhi, so-called Rahul Gandhi, the biggest economist of the world, is correct. So that is, no more comments on him and the fellow panelists, because ultimately, if you are trying to oppose something just for the heck of it, just come on with some data.
Okay, so BJP says that it's political compulsions. Of course, Rahul Gandhi is headed towards Cambridge. He's already en route there. So we'll have to wait and see. When he holds these lectures, is he going to talk about poverty or poverty elevation? The NSSO figures there. We'll have to keep a very close eye on that tomorrow, day after. But thank you so much, Pradeep Mahaur, for joining us. Rohan Mitra, pleasure as always to have you on the show. With that, a short break.